What up, traders? What up, investors? Ken here from Dyslexic Investor, and thank you for tuning in for another fantastic live stream. It feels like a little bit of deja vu. We just did one yesterday. I know a lot of people's schedules just kind of changed, so we went for about 2 hours yesterday. We're going to probably go for a little bit less today because the Sandman has come and hit me already, and I have a couple work issues and calls I got to take care of in the morning in Australia. Anyways, that being said, good evening. The market, currently speaking, S&P 500 is down 11 points. NASDAQ is up 6 points. Gold's down 4.5 points. The Russell is down maybe 10 points. And the VIX is up nearly 1%. So what is this meaning? I don't know. Is the market going to crash? I don't know. The only thing that I've been kind of watching here is the VIX. Again, if you're not familiar with the VIX, it's kind of making a weird pattern here. We could get a potential pop into tomorrow. Again, some selling coming into Monday or Tuesday just because of the ongoing run-up that we've had in a lot of stocks. That doesn't mean jack squat that we could just continue to fly higher here. Just remaining vigilant and having a steadfast of like, hey, anything can happen in the market, and get ready for any kind of activity to come through. 00 or 00, what's up, my friend? Thank you. GM, good evening to you as well. Hope everyone is doing fantastic out there and healthy and had a fantastic time off if they were able to get time off. With that being said, we can just go ahead and just jump into the S&P 500. Let's just go ahead and look at SPY, and that kind of is basically a better way to kind of gauge the overall market going through here. With this one, of course, S&P 500 has been making a very large moves to the upside, really, again, due on the vaccine news. Again, tomorrow is Monday, so we could be getting some, maybe another vaccine to be dropped or whatever reason. It seems like that's kind of been a ongoing thing there. It's always a little jokey joke, but looking for S&P 500 to continue to consolidate here, potentially to try to test the 370 level. If it breaks above 365, I think it could have that potential to probably test that 371 in this coming week. To the downside, we're going to be looking at some support, stronger support around 355 to 350 to the downside. So those are going to be some key levels to kind of look at on what we're looking for, some basically the movement within the S&P 500. So currently speaking, what is the options saying for this week? They're saying a move of nearly a little over $3 plus or minus for the S&P 500. So that is going to be something that we're going to be looking at to kind of gauge the overall market. Again, we're coming off a shorter week like last week with the holidays, shorter trader days, having one day off. People are going to start getting into the swing of things. People might be a little itchy and a little trigger happy going into the market to potentially buy things and not really quietly understand. Okay, let's go ahead and just jump in. I think GM says, can you look at GS, and it wants to look at Bank of America. So GS is Goldman Sachs. Goldman Sachs, yeah, that's a purdy one, as they say. That's definitely a very nice looking chart due to the fact of this movement to kind of really break above that $224 level. If this momentum can continue, which again, it's Goldman Sachs, it's not a Tesla, but looking for this potentially to test that previous high at 250. It wouldn't be within any reason to potentially slow down here around 230 to kind of consolidate here a little bit, to kind of wait for the moving average to kind of catch up. And I think Bank of America is kind of the same movement here. We are at a key level here that we previously saw way back in May into June here, hitting that level around $28, $29 to the upside and kind of bouncing off of it. If we can get that move to continue higher and actually close above those price targets, we can see that price to continuous rolling up here to potentially test the $31 range there. So hopefully that was helpful. A lot of the downside supports for both of them is going to be coming down to the 21 EMA. San Diego, Sam, what's up, my friend? Patel says ZM option call. Or, sorry, yeah, Zoom options. Yeah, don't they have earnings tomorrow, right? After the bell. Yeah, this is gonna be that's going to be an interesting one to see. The chart as of right now looks like it wants to break out and potentially get up back to 500. But again, it's earnings. And if you know anything about earnings and how I view things, it's a coin flip. They can have fantastic numbers, everything go fantastic and great, but yet it still can sell off. So I'm not going to be holding, especially Zoom options into the earnings. So, but that being said, it wants to test that $500 range. What's the options for the week? They're saying a move for the week about $70. So what we're currently sitting at is going to be looking for around 540. So potentially testing at these levels above where we're currently looking at, where it's previously kind of sold off around that 535 to 540 range there. Taking back what you said about PLTR. What did I say about PLTR? So PLTR is still Wall Street Bets is, and all the folks over there gonna potentially run it up some more. Again, I'm not gonna short it. I'm not touching it. I have my couple shares that I bought at around $9 to $10 way back when, and I'm just gonna let them sit. With this movement to kind of continue higher here, some key levels of support to the downside is going to be around 26. If that 26 breaks, we're going to be looking for around 23. But that being said, with any kind of crazy momentum and continuous buying with volume, we could potentially test that all-time high at 33 and even run up to $36 would be the next Fibonacci clout there. Patel says Crown. That's a pot stock, right? Yeah, so a lot of the pot stocks are getting a bid due to the fact of basically not banning, but the whole Congress and House of Representatives getting rid of the decriminalization of marijuana. That, of course, these stocks going to be potentially could run up significantly, which I think is somewhat, let's say, it's kind of baked in and kind of potentially already set in stone for these to run up. But it's hard for me to trade these because again, I don't know anything about pot. AKBA. So this one, Sam? Interesting play. I see what you're trying to see here. Potentially kind of a reversal here. Key level to kind of break is around that $4 range to kind of get above that. I'm not sure what this company does, but it looks like a therapeutical company, or pharmaceutical company, and those are very heavily driven off large movements due to announcements of new drugs, whatever trials or how we're going. You must have to know some more knowledge about this. On the chart, it needs to test that $4-ish, $3.75 range to potentially break out. Some downside support's really going to be coming around $2.50 there for you, my friend. The vaccines, I think, will take some time, GM. Yes, that's my honest opinion. So those YOLO calls I did paid a bit last week. Nice, fantastic. Patel, Twitter options for December 19th call 47. Oh, Twitter is another one that I have a distinctive bad taste in my mouth. Way back when this first came out in the market. I bought a lot of this at like $42-$50, ran it all the way up, sold just a hair up here, and then watched it drop all the way down to like 20, and then I finally cut it. And ever since then, I've not really traded much of Twitter just because of that really bad taste in my mouth and just my, I wouldn't say hatred for it, but my very much distaste for it, really. That being said, on the daily chart here, it is looking interesting. It bounced off that 144 pretty strong here. I'm looking for that initially 45 break above. I can see that. Yeah, I think it's a pretty good call. I like that you're buying the $47 call, so that's kind of close to being in the money. So that could run if we get any kind of positive movement within Twitter. It looks like it wants to potentially break out to potentially test $48 to $50. I think it's a pretty good call. For me, I would give it a little bit more time. I would potentially go to January expiration monthlies, but that's just me. I think it may go to GS 550, 600 area. Okay. Wow. Okay. Self-starter, hey, you bought some Bitcoin or any other cryptos this year, or you're staying away. I bought Ethereum and Bitcoin way back when, um, many years ago, and I sold all of it in the February 3rd, February 3rd or 4th of 2018, all of it. And I haven't touched it since then. I've been looking at it, but I haven't touched it. Alan, what's up, my friend? Howdy. Let's go. ES is currently down. That is correct. Yeah, it's not down a lot. They were talking about less than 0.1%, so it's mediocre. It's next to nothing. Ariel's in chat saying buy Ethereum. I think Ariel's long Ethereum, so he said unload his positions on you guys. Any thoughts on Disney? More job cuts coming, Greg B. Sadly, yeah. As much as I love Disney and it's in my longer term accounts, it's not it's never good to see people lose their jobs, but we are looking for potentially some support coming in around 137 to the downside. Huge kicker with this one, Disney still has the huge digital presence of Disney Plus, and that is really kind of helping the company in that sense. But sadly, the Parks and Recs department, the parks and entertainment parts are really getting hit the hardest, and that's a very sad thing. Ariel, yeah, we can look at LAC, Team, and Lyft. So LAC is the one I said I liked as well. So with this one, you can see that I kind of put some alerts out here, Ariel. So basically, I want this to kind of stay above $10.90. Really kind of give it a little bit of room to 10.50. We have that beautiful squeeze setting up. We have a nice RSI curve here in volumes on oscillator pointing to the upside, and we're seeing that volume build up here. So potentially looking for this to burst higher and break above 1376 to potentially even test some higher levels. If this trend really wants to continue, we're going to be looking for $18 plus there. So this is one that I definitely like to add as well there. And then Team, of course, is project management, helps do whatever things for your company and helps your teams work more in tune. As you can see with this one, this has had multiple hitting resistance over the last couple of months, basically around that $200 range. Finally had this really breakout here and really print to all-time highs. So this is, again, a very strong indicator of the stock, of course, on the heels of work being acquired by CRM, as well. So that's definitely something to look at. So potentially some targets can be around 226. If that really wants to continue to grind higher, we're going to be looking for 240 plus. Then PSTG. Pure Storage. This must be one that what's her face is buying. I think I've read about this one. This must be Kathy Wood must be buying this. With this, what do I have these lines from? This must be an old. Let me redo these fibs here. So it's hitting its 50% retracement here on the weekly chart. We've seen multiple kind of failures here around that $18, $19 range. If it can really break above this and stay current and not get these sell-offs that we saw previously back in February, of course, that was with the pandemic, and of course we had that sell-off in November for whatever reason there, this is potentially could be setting up for a nice move to potentially test 21. But it's currently looking at it. It really needs to kind of prove itself and stay above the 1750 range on the daily side. And then, what else do you say? Oops, fat fingers here, CERS. Another one, I have never heard of this one as well. And you're pretty good at giving me stocks that I never have heard of in my life. Key level here is around $6.83 to the upside. It had a huge green day on Friday, nearly up 10%. looking for that potentially to kind of continue to go higher. If it breaks above that 683, that could try to test that $7.95 to the upside. Mario saying YJ. What is that? I mean, you guys are coming out with some stocks I've never heard of before. Holy moly guacamole, what is this thing? Okay, it had some kind of great earnings. It just kind of took off. This was very much a failing stock, as you can look here on the weekly chart. It looks like it was a newer IPO, and it just hasn't really gotten its groove into place, and then finally got a kick out of nowhere with some kind of great news, and it is kind of kicking higher. So this is definitely one to look out for. Not sure what the company does, but this is going to be looking for some initial support around 325, and then some more support at 255. Trying to get some fib reading here. Let's see here. If this trend wants to continue and kind of hold this base here around 384, some upside target's going to be 720 to around 870 to the upside. But again, that has to have that continuous motion and not really breaking its all-time low. So that trend needs to kind of continue going higher. Oh, it's all ARK. I knew it was ARK. VEE. Yeah, this one is setting up pretty nicely, actually. It's really tight consolidation between that 277 to 266 and just kind of bouncing around here. Really need to see this kind of come through. We do have earnings on the horizon as well, coming in on the 1st of December, which is Tuesday, right? Is it after or before the bell? After the bell. So you have like 2 days left to kind of get into it if you want to. Looking to potentially kind of cross, if the 5 and 8 get any kind of movement again, closed really strong on Friday, up 3%, but the overall trend has been really choppy the past couple of months. Again, with earnings last time, it kind of did gap up a little bit, but then sold off a couple days later. Looking at this potentially to test and get above the 282, but let's look on doesn't have weekly options, but they're saying a $25 move just for the monthly expiration. That's kind of heavy for this kind of stock. Yes, it is nearly a $300 stock, so it's somewhat within reason, but it looks like the options market, just looking at it, wasn't the greatest here. Something what I would definitely have to look at the stock as well, potentially looking for some price targets around the 282 to the 290 range there. David S., what's up, my friend? Very nice, very nice. We just did ZM. So ZM is something they're going to be looking for. Again, has earnings coming out tomorrow. So we're the movement within, I think it's after the bell. Zoom is after the bell. So that could be definitely test 500. It can also go back down depending on the overall movement, which I probably won't be touching with a 10-foot pole. Let's see here. Okay. Chat's coming in pretty hot today. Thank you everyone for coming out. Yeah, I'll add it to the list, Ariel. I think I kind of like it too. It's kind of been, let me look on the weekly chart. It's kind of been dormant. I like the pattern here on the weekly side. It's been holding basically the 267 on the weekly side, potentially to kind of cool off here to get the next run higher. So there's definitely something to look at as well for the long side. But again, giving it a little bit more time to kind of work out, because again, it has been kind of underperforming the last couple of weeks. Corey ZT, hey Ken, what do you think about the TCS? Look like a continued wedge pattern. I picked up 1,000 shares around 8.95, looking for a possible move to 11 to 10. TCS. Container Store. Oh, is this the store that just sells everything storage? This I think we have one right in Vienna, I believe. I've driven by it. I think I've been there once or twice. They actually might have one in Arlington. I think I drove by it. Maybe I bought some. Anyway, so going off a tangent here. Yeah, I don't like follow those technical terms like a wedge pattern. As of right now, it's showing some support on the 50-day here. It's kind of bouncing off that 880 range. That's kind of entailing its potential short-term support. It has been trying to build a base here. It has been bouncing around here. Whatever happened here, the sell-off for whatever reason, we're getting a lot of volume in the stock, potentially kind of selling off for whatever news pattern that was or whatever happened. I'm looking for that potentially to hold, kind of stay above the $9.15 to potentially test, you said the $11 to $12 range. Yeah, if it gets any kind of movement to the upside, we are seeing the volume zone oscillator and RSI kind of hold steady, potentially trying to curl up here. Yeah, with the 5 and 8, as long as they stay above the 21 EMA, I think this could potentially hold around the 950 to potentially test a 10 and then try to go above from there. Boop, 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 boop. Oh, sorry, the chat's going really fast today. My eyes are like, blah. Let's see here. Earl G, oh, sorry, SNDL going to the moon. Okay, let's look at that. Let's see if it's going to the moon or it's going to crash into the ground. SNDL. Yeah, I cannot comment on that one. Honestly, just because it's just such a small penny stock, it's 13 cents. It looks like it's definitely something like a marijuana stock there. So sorry, I can't add there. Earl G's thoughts on CTXS or D-Dog. Thank you. So I'm gonna go D-Dog because that is one that had some strange movement going out on Friday. So this one's kind of poising up to potentially kind of move higher. We are seeing that 5 and 8 potentially cross to the 21 EMA. Not guaranteeing anything here. Again, it's the stock market. It doesn't care about anything, your feelings, your emotions, or whatever. If that 5 and 8 can continue to break through the 21 EMA, we're going to be looking for some targets at basically around 98 to 100, and then really test some targets around 103. So Datadog has had some issues in the past, sold off like Fastly, not as much as Fastly, but it's kind of fallen off the chariot or the milk truck, as you whatever you want to call it, and it has not been performing as actionable as other stocks. And really kind of hitting some ceiling of resistance. Potentially, this could be happening here since we've already had earnings that's kind of out of the way and really looking for some potential move higher to kind of get some of those weak hands out to potentially see this to kind of rocket higher here. Top tech and investing, can you go Tilray? Yeah, getting a lot of pot stocks coming this week. I think a lot of people are having the same idea on getting into these stocks before the overall voting of that. Tilray, nothing really to add here. It had a huge move on Friday due to the fact of, again, the stuff we're talking about, it potentially being passed. Some key levels to potentially test to see if it can get above $10.35. Really short dated support is going to be coming around 715 to 720. Saint Gang says space. Yes, I love me some space. So this is definitely one as well that has been kind of trying to go to the moon multiple times and has failed. So it's failed basically around the 2578 multiple times. We can come up to that 2972 and potentially come back down again, but we really want to see that continuous aggressive movement to get above $29.72 to potentially test the $33 range at those levels there. Keen on Bitcoin. I got nothing to add on Bitcoin. What's it doing right now? It's up. It's really made a really strong about face here. It sold off a lot on the previous week, and now it's kind of coming back pretty strong here. It hit that 21 EMA. I think this continued potentially to go higher and maybe even test 20,000. PSTH, yes. So this is one that I literally just did a video out. So this is the Pershing Square SPAC that's coming out. So this is definitely one I've added to and looking at for a longer term investment in the account, looking for this potentially to grind higher, looking for, again, really just waiting on the Silver Fox to come out and say what company they're going to be giving a blank check for. And once that happens, we can potentially see this run up to $26 to $30 easily that day, with potentially even hitting $33 on any kind of announcement going forth. Downside support's really going to be coming in basically around that $23 level, which we've seen some support coming through there. Let's see. Alan says SFT Swift Technologies founded in the market this year has SPACs that it's like have Carvana with customer service be their niche. Their footprint is the West Coast of Texas for now. Let's look at looky-loo. Ooh, okay. So this is a SPAC. I'm trying to. Was founded in 2013. Same came of the marketing this year through a SPAC. Okay. So it sold off quite a bit for a SPAC. Because usually SPACs just kind of stay nice, steady Eddie around that like $9 to $10 range, just kind of bounce around. This sold off a lot. Looking at this chart, it's having some very aggressive movements. It was still up on a Friday, but looking for potentially to break and stay above that 11.30 range. It is holding that $9.20 to $10 range, which you normally see in SPACs. But yeah, this is definitely something I could potentially, depends on what they're doing, might be throw a couple shekels at it and see how it plays out. Want to look into the company a little bit more. Yeah, honestly, if you're building a longer term position, I would need to know the company a little bit more. But I see that it's trying to switch again. It needs to kind of stay and close above that $10.17 range there. We did PRTR already, my friend. Nail it to TDAC. What's TDAC? Okay, it looks like another SPAC. This is again, I like we talked about it last night on the live stream. Is this just been there's a SPAC after SPAC? I think people are. I'm losing track of what SPAC does what. Honestly, like they need to kind of make a creative way of kind of really just kind of keeping like a cheat sheet. Honestly, I need to make like a PDF cheat sheet and hand out to everyone. Like, okay, this SPAC is doing this and it's trying to what yeah. Anyways. This again, it's a SPAC. Depending on what it's trying to do, potentially could run up higher. Again, these SPACs once an announcement comes out could run to $15 to $20. So it's gonna be hard to kind of give you any kind of technical analysis on this because it's just kind of been trying to break out here. Potentially going to be looking for $12 to $13 to the upside if it gets any kind of good news. Samir says AMD, please. Yes, sir. Samir. Basically, we're seeing kind of a double bottom here with a kind of a double top potentially. More or less, AMD's kind of been set in this box, and this has not been able to really perform. Even though AMD has this notoriety in the sense of just having these really lull times of just kind of just trading sideways and doing next to nothing for quite some times. It's something that just kind of just chills. It just kind of just relaxes for a little bit, and it just doesn't do much of anything going forth there. And just kind of then one day, Queen Lisa Su comes out and just gives some kind of announcement or something happens, and it just kind of skyrockets. Kind of sitting on this on my longer term account as well, and looking for potential targets around $94 to $99. Key levels of support is going to be coming around that $78 to $75 range to the downside, my friend. Oh, it's not a SPAC anymore, Alan. Okay. I would have to look into it. I'm going to write it down, and then I have to kind of give my better opinion on that because again, the chart doesn't look as pretty as I thought it would be because it's really sold off there. But you usually come with some grade A Kobe beef stocks. So definitely will take a second gander for you, my friend, once I kind of start looking into the stock and the company itself. NIO, Sullivan. Yes, we can look at NIO. So NIO, of course, I think people have maybe forgotten about it because they all switched to PLTR. With NIO, this trend is still super aggressive here, folks. It's just continue to grind higher here, potentially staying above that $52 range, and then looking to test potentially $70. I know that sounds crazy, but this trend is looking very strong here and is looking for continuation to the upside. The only way this trend really breaks is if we start getting closing below 50 and start testing some levels below $44 to $45 to the downside. Tesla, yeah, we can look at Tesla. So Tesla, is Tesla gonna hit $600 this week? Sure, maybe. I don't know. Most likely, yeah, I think it will. Honestly, it might hit $6 and just continue to fly. I have some key targets around 609 for some targets for Tesla to hit those levels, and then maybe kind of consolidate or get a significant pullback in the intraday. But looking for some initial support around 550, and then we got support all the way down to around that. What is that? 465 level. But something to kind of be very move there. But wow, that has been a heck of a run just in Tesla in a very short period of time. David S. says, thoughts on Yeti? Yes, I am Yeti for Yeti. Again, this stock I think is, this has been running. It's been a nice, steady, easy grinder. I don't think a lot of people, it was kind of a hot stock and it was trending for a little bit on a lot of people's videos and just Twitter or whatever place that you can find for stock hashtags is Yeti was definitely trending. I think it's, even though it's just been outperforming here, even with a strong quarter here, it has gone really much a parabolic move with this kind of cooler business, and just really kind of grinding higher here, hitting an all-time high on Friday and just looking to basically chest that $65 to $70 range to potentially get some slowdown kind of coming through. Because again, we can kind of do a very basic fib here, which is again, we don't have a significant pullback to kind of pull that data from, but some key targets would be potentially testing that $77 range, be a substantial target higher there for Yeti, with some short-dated support coming in around 58 to much stronger support coming in around 55 to 53.72, my friend. Amir, can you please check out FTUP, FUTU? So I always get these two confused. Is this the Robinhood of China, or is this the other one I'm thinking about? This is looking like it wants to potentially come down some more and test $40. It could hold here around 44-ish range, but looking for some initial support around $40 is going to be much more significant. It was a previous high. It's the 21 EMA there is potentially looking for that potentially to bounce there or show some kind of support around that range. BIDU, looks like someone said, okay, my lovely YouTube chat just updated again, sorry. So this one as well is kind of in that same kind of pattern here. Really kind of coming through here, bouncing pretty hard off that 50-day SMA, which is a red line, and hitting a key Fibonacci retracement at 133, which is basically 78.6 percentile move. And that was also a significant level previously where it kind of took off, and looking for potentially to see this run up to potentially test its all-time high around 147 to 150. If this trend wants to continue and show a significant strength in the coming weeks or days, we're going to be looking for 164 to 165 to the upside. Bada bing, bada bang. All right, sorry, I'll make sure I want to get to everyone. Sorry. see here. I'm sorry. A lot of things. My eyes are a little tired today. I apologize. The little one kept me up all night the other day. BD. What's BD? BYD, please. Wow. Wow. That's a beautiful looking chart, dude. I don't know what this company does, but looking for some potential testing around $44.26 to be some nearsighted targets. That is definitely a very interesting chart to be looking at. Is it in gambling or is this like a video game company? Looking for some potentially testing around $44.26. Initial support to the downside is around 36.22, which is basically its previously high, and actually where the 21 kind of really comes into fruition there. Okay, they're a new player in the market. Is it time to play? Time for play to break out? Your thoughts, please. Play. So that's Dave & Buster's, if I'm correct. Is it gonna break out? I don't know. Like, I don't understand. So it's all gonna come down to how states are opening up and how the overall pandemic is viewed. If things are going to be opening up, aka bars, restaurants, all this kind of stuff, this thing could potentially run to $31. My only stipulation with this company is that it has, I think if I remember right, has a lot of insider ownership, and the insider ownership is the company that took the stock public. So there could be potentially some unloading shares, not calling manipulation here, but potentially an opportunity for them to unload some shares at a very high price, and then we see some not a really strong floor when it comes back down, if you know what I'm saying. So once the party kind of runs out, we could see some substantial selling to the downside. Looking for, again, this trend to continue. I'm not saying there's any sign of anything failing here or a strong crash coming, but that 2670 range is going to, again, be the 50% retracement from its previous swing high to low, and it's hitting that level not once, it's hitting it twice now, maybe 3 times if you call these 2 ticks here. If it wants to break above, it needs to kind of get that momentum and break through. Pretty much it looks like it can to potentially test $31.92. Downside support's going to be coming in around 22.50 to around 21.50 to the downside there. But I'm going to keep that one on a very short leash if I was trading that one, David. Zoo says Netflix is taken off. Yeah, I had Netflix on something on one of my scans here. Oops, that's the wrong one. So Netflix is really trying here, even though Netflix got a bad taste in the mouth for Netflix as well. We're seeing like a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 a hexagon bottom here. Is a hexagon 6 sides? Okay, I can't do math right now either. Basically a 6 bottom here, potentially looking for it to break out like multiple times. With Netflix, again, the virus has affected as well due to content issues and everything, but looking forward to potentially to see a breakout come into play. We really need to see the stock above 515 to 516 because we've seen it fail there multiple times, and then that 530 and then 550 to the upside. But it has a significant strong support around the 475 range though. Oh, it's a Chinese EV. Okay. Thank you for bringing that to my attention. I don't play cards. I just play in the stock market. Honestly, I would play, the only game I would play at a casino would be blackjack. Because I know that the odds are somewhat better on my behalf. Like I wouldn't, no offense to anyone who likes to play, what's it called? What's the electric boxes? Oh my God, the slot machines. Like there's less complete luck. There's no skill in that, right? You're just hitting a button, hoping the computer gives you 3 diamonds or 4 diamonds across your screen, whatever it is, and then you get bingo, whatever they give you. Okay, it looks like a lot of folks are coming in. Thank you. All right, TikTok world, why are you doing that, bro? That's not cool to spam, man. We did PSTH multiple times already. We're going to stop that, please. That's not cool. Let's see here. Yeah, we did Pershing Square already. We did cover Disney as well. SNDL you may have already talked about, and I don't know. Hunter, we did. It's definitely something that was the crazy penny stock one. Yeah. So this is something that I really don't touch. It's like these very, very low float penny stocks. It's just something I have experience with and I really don't want to be touching. Scene making. What do you think about D King? So D King, I think it could be, it's trying, it is trying to break out here. I know GTFO in our Patreon channel or in our Patreon and on our Discord has him and I have been nibbling on this multiple times. Him much more successfully than I have. Initially looking for some price targets to break above $53 to really kind of break out here. But that being said, this thing just kind of for me, just trades in a very sporadic way and potentially could be testing here and just kind of give it all back. It has moved quite significantly in the past 2 weeks. You can see with the 5 and 8 moving averages, it is somewhat elevated. The RSI and volumes on oscillator is not signaling a very large overbought signal, but this thing could potentially kind of consolidate here around these ranges and potentially kind of wind up the engines and get its rev back up to potentially test that $55 range to the upside. But some downward support's going to be coming around 47 to around that $45 range to the downside, my friend. BA, I'm not going anything long on the weed stuff since I'm not actually allowed to due to my contract with my current company. I can't touch the weed stock, sorry. Let's see here. Ryan says TTNP. Let's look at that one. So, okay, this is again a very low float pharmaceutical stock. Can't really add anything too much to this. Like you're talking, this is not even trading for $1, so this is kind of falls out of my my wheelhouse, as they say, and it's kind of out of my my understanding of stocks, honestly, because again, when you're getting into these very aggressive penny stocks, there's a whole nother level of reading level 2 tape. And just really looking at how the flow of the buy and ask orders kind of come into there. Playing roulette table is like 0-day calls, lose all, make like 3x. Yeah, what's the game? Is it craps? There's this one part of my friend taught me in craps where it's like people get so ticked off at you when you do this certain thing in craps. Like you're basically betting against them, but that's like the best thing you can do. Like you really get really booed at when you start doing that at a craps table. That's like something I would do. I'm like, okay, I have the highest probability of doing this. Let me just do this. Like I'm not gonna YOLO on black 25 or whatever, black 21. MG Streams Pro says, what is Pros? Oh, NNDM. Your name's so long, I didn't know what you were saying. NNDM. Yes, this stock has been gangbusters. A lot of folks have been adding this. I know a lot of people have been quoting and highlighting the amount of investment that ARK has put into this and looking for some potential price targets to break above $8. We had a super, super fantastic day on Friday for this stock and potentially looking to kind of carry this over into Monday, potentially breaking $8. Some longer data price targets are going to be run above $8 to around $12 to the upside. To the downside support, we're going to be looking at some shorter dated stuff coming in around 530 and potentially around 437 to the downside there. Looks like someone just became a member. Earl G, thank you for becoming a live stream member. I appreciate that, my friend. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Let's give everyone a nice little welcome to Earl G, to becoming a fantastic member. And thank you for the support, my friend. Okay, sorry, the chat's moving really fast here. Sorry, what about INDX? Oh yeah. So this is one that has been absolutely moving like a rocket ship and then kind of coming back to earth pretty fast here. Looking at some key levels that kind of hit near that Fibonacci retracement at the 1272 extension at $4.84. Then coming back pretty significantly to another key level at the 618, which is around 277, for looking for some consolidation here. Potentially looking for this to bounce around and hold above 277 if you're going to be a little bit more on the bullish side. Some downward support is going to be coming in further around the $2 to around the 150 level. That's going to be more on the extreme selling coming in. If we do get a significant bounce coming into Monday or earlier stages of next week, this potentially could run back up to above $4 with some longer dated price targets above $5.50 to $6. But this one is just moves a little too much front. Alan, yes, the pass line, that is it. I was almost gonna say the pass go, but that's in Monopoly. 21. I'm sorry, like someone's corrected me. I didn't even know 21 was red. I'm sorry. You can just completely tell me that I have no idea on anything. I'm like a fish out of water if I go to a casino. It's just that's not my cup of tea. Michael says DVAX above 280 looks like it wants to pop. All right, Michael, let's take a looky-loo, and I will give you my opinions. All right. Wants to break above 280 and wants to pop. So close at 280. It looks like it wants to continuing higher. It does have some really key indication for squeezes setting up and volume, a lot of contraction going through here. So that's always a good note. And looking potentially to test. Some key levels of test is basically this previous high on the last couple of weeks. It was around 515 to 525 to potentially go up higher here, with some key levels of potentially test is above 550 there. But we'll get some really strong downside support around $4.11 to the downside. But yeah, would keep this one on a short leash, even though it was up nearly 12% in one day. So hopefully you took a little cheddar off the table and a nice little trade there, my friend. Nacho says INTC. Yeah, Intel is making a kind of a slow, stealthy comeback. Of course, this thing has just been swung left and right, got curb stomped, it got kicked in the face, its teeth knocked in, bruised eye, broken ribs, the past couple quarters of this one and then this one again, showing some strong support around the $45 to $44 level and slowly to grind higher. If we get that significant push through the 5 and 8 crossover on the daily chart here, we could be potentially testing $49 for Intel there. So that's my observation for Intel there. Again, with some initial short dated support coming around 46.50 and really strong dated support around 45.50 to the downside. What's your top stock? My top stock that I own is Tesla. Zulu says AMOS. What was my God? That's a mouthful. Is it AMOSF? It's not popping up my screen. Financial Freedom XLM over. How about SPX LM? What is XLM? Am I not typing these stickers in? Oh, SXP. It's taking a lot to load here. Okay, this is weird that 5 tickers have come in and I have no idea what they are. I like PDD, honestly, for some options coming up this week. Looking for potentially to kind of break above that 146 range. I like actually NNDM as well. I like LAC is actually one I like a lot. So LAC is a stock that has been kind of holding here around the 1050 range, and potentially looking to pop here up to $13 there. Some plays that I'm looking at there. NASA SPK. Is that Kerbal Space Program? Is that game? I love that. That's a wonderful game. I love those physics. Zon Oil and Gas. Holy moly, that's a penny stock and great move there. Hopefully you cash in some chips there. Burn Capital, can you look at TRIT, please? A global community trading, and yeah, I think we looked at that one yesterday, I think, right? I might have written that down. I wanted to look into that more. So this one again is it being acquired, or it's already announced going for looking to buy the 1250 calls. So 1250 is a very key level as well, which we've seen multiple times, basically the 1230 kind of fail here, with that continuous kind of selling kind of coming in at those ranges there. We can get that significant support with the help of the 21 EMA kind of pushing this stock up higher. We can see potentially breaking above 1230 to 1250. I'm not sure what the expiration you have on it. If it's this week or next month's. Looks like it doesn't have weekly expirations. Looks like it has monthlies. Not seeing much options activity, which is not really my favorite cup of tea as well there. I'm going to be straight with you. I would rather just own the shares than options, because again, you're really just going to be playing against yourself with very low liquidity in those options. But that being said, some initial support, very short dated support around $11.83, and then coming in around 11.50 to 11.42 for some downside support, with some targets potentially hitting 12.30 to 12.89 to the upside there, my friend. Thoughts on SGEN. Let's see here. I kind of like it here as a spec play. This is genomic, so it's kind of a DNA play, right? This looks like something that ARK would buy, and it's been holding that 144. It's held at 144 before and really bounced higher. The overall trend is still trying to print lower here, because you're seeing the 5 and 8s kind of not really settle off here. If we can stay above that 165 to 164 range and kind of build a strong base here and start maybe slowly grinding our way up to that 170 range, and potentially have these moving averages kind of level off here, and get parallel with each other, and start seeing the 5 and 8 potentially cross over. I'm going to be a little bit early on this one, potentially looking for this to kind of bottom here. But again, it is a pharmaceutical genomic stock, so any bad news can come out about it and they can drop for whatever reason. So interesting stock. Potentially, I would like to look at potentially looking at the options chain to see if you're able to sell some premium on it for some puts. It looks like, yeah, there's not much volume here as well. Look at this. They don't even have, there's not much option. Look at this. There's hardly anything. The open interest is super low here. Not really my favorite cup of tea, and very widespread. So this is something you would have to probably potentially just own the stock. Stock up, what's up? Yep, back at it again. Oh, I love the live stream. Don't get me wrong. I love to like to try to get as many people into stocks as well. Can we look at a GME? Yes. This is again a stock that has been one of Wall Street's bets favorite stocks in the recent coming months, and really looking for potentially to break out here. If we can see this any kind of movement above 1736, this could be kicking into a short squeeze and running up to $19 to $20 to the upside. Some downside support's going to be basically coming in around 14.69 to around 13.77. Can we take a look at Ford, Alan? Yes. Alan, I think that you and I both went long Ford. I'm still owning the shares here. I think we bought in basically around that right below $7 range. We just kind of it was like it was around this range. I think you brought this into my attention. I added to it. The options market's not the greatest. They have activity and liquidity out there, but it's still nothing to really write home about. Rather just kind of own the stock here a little bit. I think I maybe did trade the calls here a little bit for some little bit of growth. But this thing has been fantastic, right? I sure do hope that you're still in it. Looking for some initial support around the short dated side, around $8.70. Potentially looking for some targets around $10 to $9.83 to the upside is going to be a very key level, because once we flip over to the weekly chart here, this thing has had a lot of issues around that $9.50 to $10 range. It has not really been able to really break out of that. Being the new EV movement and the overall trend of potentially Ford going into that direction and really making some fantastic cars to compete with other those competitors, I think it does have a chance. All right, a lot of people coming in here. Thank you guys. I saw CRM in the chat right below that. So CRM also has earnings coming out this week. Of course, there are in talks of potentially acquiring Slack, which is ticker symbol work. We're seeing some initial support kind of come in here around the 55 EMA on the daily chart, which is around that 145-ish range to potentially to hold. With earnings on the horizon, you have to be super mindful about that. The earnings for this week, the move is expected for around $20. That's a lot of cheddar up or down here, and continue moving there as well. So looking for this potentially to kind of make its way higher here if it can hold that some significant levels, looking for 264 to 265 above. Again, with earnings, anything kind of go which either way. Looks like a couple people are on work. Yeah. Yeah, we can look at PLTR. Looks like a lot of folks are joining and asking for PLTR. So PLTR, again, full disclosure, I am long PLTR. I've been long in my long-term account since like $9.50. I think it's a little bit over $10. I might have added some more. That being said, this thing has gone super parabolic. It has been, wouldn't say the word manipulated, but it has been pumped up by a lot of other folks, and it's been really just kind of been riding that FOMO train. Not saying it's a terrible company or whatever reason, just looking strictly at the chart, it is looking like it could potentially consolidate here or rip higher or go lower. I have no idea where this could be going. I'd have to kind of wait, sit back, relax, and just kind of see how it performs, because if we start seeing some aggressive buying coming in, this thing can run to $36 and easily run to $40 plus. Again, that being said, if people decide to sell and get out and take a profit and lick their wounds, this can easily break back down to 20. So be very mindful on that one. This is definitely very much a crapshoot. Talking about it is somewhat of a casino. Like, again, you have to understand that this stock has run up so fast, so much. This very aggressive movement is not very common in the market, and just seeing this kind of spotlight on a one particular stock, it's very unusual activity. And that's why I think, even though I'm not a fan of Citron Research, that's why they pointed it out, and they probably made a nice quick cha-ching, some cheddar on that trade because of the amount of movement that we saw in the stock. With Norwegian Cruise Line, another stock that has been kind of slowly being under the radar, and I've added positions into this. some key levels to hold around $22. If this trend can continue, of course, we're seeing better results for the virus in the sense of vaccines and more states opening back up. I just saw New York is opening up elementary schools and things like that, potentially looking for a run up to 27 would be a nice key level. We've seen that level way back when in the June timeframe at those levels and kind of failed here and kind of rolled over a little bit, but potentially looking for this again with stronger data, more significant acknowledgement of the vaccine and viruses that we know about, potentially looking to run back again. Not a fan of cruise line ships. This is just a trade looking for potentially $27 to $33 to the upside movement there. The Citron is pretty smart on the sense of like, hey, they're legally allowed to say this company is BS and they can just take a short position and not really tell anyone. Unless it's under a certain amount of the stock, they can do whatever the heck they want. Snow, yeah. So Snow, I don't know if is GTFO if you're in chat today. Him and I traded the Hello Kitty out of this. We got into this a little bit. Basically, I got in around 250, maybe even lower, I think. Rode it all the way up to basically the 273 to 275. Took a little profit off, then ran up to that 300, and I took the rest off, and then I missed this whole move up here. Like, it's absolutely insane. Breaking to all-time highs. This thing could potentially test with more of an earnings run-up to potentially test the 342 and potentially even run up to 373 to the upside. Again, if mass hysteria kicks in and FOMO, that can easily run because again, this was a very hyped up IPO if you recall when it first came out. So this has definitely had a lot of legs and a lot of strong institutional buying on this one as well, and the fact of before it went public. Because again, the original IPO for Snow was like $60, $70, and of course its first day of trading went up to 320. So yeah, it just the amount of people just trying to getting in line and getting in front of that was just very much created a FOMO environment in the market. What software am I using, Noah? I'm using Thinkorswim. Oh, someone answered that for you. Okay, thank you, Goody. I appreciate that. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you for helping another person out. You also said SNDL. SNDL is I can't trade it, folks. Like it's a penny stock. I can't do it. Ariel, if you're listening, I got a stock for you if you want to trade it. SNDL, Ariel. Ariel, if you're in chat. This thing has been brought up more than I could recall. Absolutely insane. Ah, nice. I appreciate that. Good job, Alan. Yeah, I know. I knew it was Alan, who brought up Ford into my perspective. Casino City, Casino City, huge float on SNDL. Yeah, Canadian Vegas, baby. A sunny day says GE. Oh yes, GE has definitely been one. Again, like the cruise lines and other things, has been like huge underperformers due to the virus and things like that. Cutting jobs, airline business sucks, travel sucks, whatever. It's just been getting slashed, and now we're seeing it somewhat of a key level here on $10.30. Potentially looking for 1160 to the upside. So with GE, this is not a sexy stock. This is not a Tesla. This is not an NIO. This is not a Google or a Facebook. We're talking about a company that just deals with the healthcare division they sold off. Their airline business is kind of have to cut some more and things like that. So this is definitely one to be looking for a I'm not saying this move is over, but the move is somewhat kind of baked in. We could potentially hold this level for here a little bit, potentially test $11, but we need some more significant, I guess, rollout on how the vaccine will be placed throughout the United States. What's up, Blue? How you doing, my friend? GE. We just did GE. Possible plays on BBBY and Val. I love Val. I think Val is going to be hitting $15 super soon. BBBY, that's Bed Bath & Beyond, if I remember correct. We're looking for some key levels around $21.67. If we get the 5 and 8 to cross over that, we could potentially see it higher. And really kind of go some movement higher again. This is going to be really playing the retail industry to the upside with some key support around $20. What's up, Blue? You got a stock for me that you want me to take a look at for you, my friend? Looks like someone says Joe. So is another stock that was a newer IPO as well coming out this year. Really just going off into into heaven here, going to the moon. Bought in here basically around $80 and sold out basically on this double top here that I thought was around 120, and then I missed this whole run up here. So this thing looks like it wants to continue to run higher, getting a little bit highly elevated here. So we'll see how this one plays out. Not overbought yet, but looking for potentially 150 to 175 easily in the coming weeks. I'm buying LCA tomorrow, says Jesus. Well, if Jesus is buying, what's LCA? Is that the casino stock? Yeah. So this one hit a key level here already. With a huge gap up, it's always somewhat concerning for me. With that movement, yes, it could run up to 26 without a doubt, but it's had a lot. It's a very key support level there. With these SPACs, it's super difficult to kind of give you some charting because it's so news driven. You kind of have to understand what the company does, where it could be going, what's the perspective, all this kind of stuff. And once that's kind of out of the way and they start trading normally and out of that SPAC range, these things could just be bouncing around like a roller coaster, so be very careful with that. DBX, is that Dropbox? If I can write here. Yeah, this poor guy. Basically, this thing just needs to break above $20 to kind of get any kind of significant staying power, and this has not been able to do so. It is trying to pull out here. We do have a squeeze indicating here with an RSI and volumes on oscillators tried to print higher, but we've seen this pattern before and kind of really fizzle out above that $20 to $21 range. Crunch gears, yeah, we can look at Rocket. Rocket is definitely one that I like in my longer term account and just kind of been just taking it easy. This might take 2 or 3 quarters more to kind of get some of those weak hands out and really get the right perspective on this stock. I think that this is a fantastic stock. It has a fantastic product. It makes mortgage buying and finding a loan substantially easier. It's kind of a pain in the rear to do all that stuff, and they seamlessly be able to do it via your phone and online. It's just fantastic. With that being said, some initial supports coming in basically around that $20 range as well. Kind of been a very kind of a broken chart here, but I'm very long term in this stock, so that's where my overall positioning on that one is. There's GTFO. Yes. Let's see here. Okay, sorry. Okay, the chat is missing. Okay, the chat's really going fast here, boys and girls. I usually have like 20, 30 people in here, and now I'm having 200. This is a little bit too much. Can we have some people leave, please? Nervous laugh. Dude, love that you actually go a bit inside of the comment. I'll be back more often. Thanks, bro. Thank you, bro. Thank you, Jesus. Let's see. JP Morgan long term. Okay, that one popped. So JP Morgan and banks have been performing fairly well lately. We talked about Bank of America and Goldman Sachs earlier. These are kind of coming back again due to potentially higher interest rates. We are getting potentially Janet Yellen within the Treasury Department with this movement here. Some very short dated support coming around 116 and some significant more support coming in around the 109 and then down to like the 101 range. Some key targets if we want to continue going higher. So we kind of broke past that previous high that we saw this year, but looking for 127 to the upside with some short dated support around 116 like we mentioned before. David, that is hilarious because I posted a comment on the Discord. I'm like, is it the top if someone's talking about Roblox IPO? I'm a little scared about that. That seems a little sus. I might just add it just for the kicks and giggles and just say that I have it, honestly. Lee, I'm just joking. You don't have to leave, my friend. I feel bad that I'm not able to get to everyone's comments. It's just moving so fast for me. That's the best way to put it, David. It is like addiction. It's like the new Minecraft, right? JMIA, yes, this one has been a rocket ship as well. Even though its quarter wasn't great, it kind of sold off, bounced off heavily off that 13-ish, 1340-ish range. Basically, it's 55 EMA here and just went completely ballistic here. And it pumped the nitro, it put it into 6th gear. Whatever you want to put some dumb metaphors on that. With it hitting a key level around $39 to $40 range. That being said, we need to see this. That's a very extreme move higher. We've seen these extreme moves higher before and has come back down slightly and then potentially made another run at it. Looking for a potential move to around $31 here. It's going to be the next level of support. It's not going to be a strong level of support because, again, it's just the 5 EMA. Because, again, this stock has gone parabolic and it's really holding this pattern of the 5 and 8 moving averages. Again, if you're not familiar with that pattern, it's a very fast momentum driven stocks. So those 5 and 8s continue to drive it higher. We start seeing this kind of start curling over and the ticks crossing through the 5 and 8 moving averages. That's where you can start seeing some potential consolidation or even selling coming in because you're having those FOMO people kind of getting out there as well. What's up, Blue? Yep. You want to look at Shop for sure, my friend. We look at Shoppy Shop. So Shop, it's kind of still in this box. Really, it's kind of just been bouncing around here, not performing as well as it should be. Even though it's had a enormous run, basically from the beginning of the year, being around the low of 300 and then coming up to around $1,200, and it's been performing. It's like crazy. So the reason I have this box on, it's like potentially if it starts breaking above 1100, I would be consider that somewhat of a breakout if we get some significant volume and RSI strength behind that. With that being said, some really key support coming in around $900 though. That's going to be a very strong level of support down there. Yeah, Roblox, we can only imagine. JA, like, come on, man. You don't have to spam that, please. Pretty please. Let's see, David S. And okay, it looks like Noah A firm IPO. That's an interesting one. Is there a ticker for that one yet? We did Pershing Square already as well. We did ZM already. So ZM is basically, I'm going to do it really quick for you, but please don't spam. I don't like that. and I think a lot of people don't like it either. It has earnings on Monday, so it's a coin flip for me. I'm not going to be probably trading this, maybe selling some premium on it, but looking again for this pattern potentially to go kick us higher to above $500. The movement for that week is around $70, so we're going to see a pretty large swing. Of course, last quarter was completely a gangbuster move and really kicked it a stamp substantially higher there, and really seeing that move really go to an all-time high and just really take the stock into new levels of orbit. With Zoom again, it's not just a virus play and just really wishing for this Zoom is basically like a genie. We rub the lamp, it's coming out, and it's definitely time for not going to be able to put the genie back in the bottle, but looking for potentially to go higher, maybe consolidate and kind of get some of this price movement in some reasonable ranges there. I don't think Roblox has a ticker yet. You're very, very welcome, Blue. Always welcome, my friend. Joe Sykes says Fiverr. Yes, that's another great stock. Kind of seeing a little bit of a parabolic run in a lot of these stocks, hitting a key level above 200, now breaking well above 210. The next target is above, I know, insane, it's around 260. Up above these targets. That is if it can stay above some key levels around 180 to 170 to the upside. And these are some key levels to the downside. Short-term initial, not the world's strongest support, is going to be coming around 193 there, my friend. We already did PLTR. PLTR is gone extremely parabolic, and it's literally all over the internet. It's like a virus, and you cannot control it. It has a complete mind of its own. PLTR can go up, down, left, or right. Some key levels for PLTR is that $26 range. Some more downside support is going to be coming around 23-ish, and then $20. Upside target's going to be around $33.50 to potentially $37, and then we can see it run past $37 to potentially $50 if we really get some significant YOLO option players and Wall Street Bets gamblers coming there as well. Sam says CRSR. Yeah, this kind of pulled back a little bit, right? Yeah, it's kind of coming back to a very, not a key level, it's a parabolic SAR dot. So they have shown support before around that $38-ish range, $38.50, kind of holding that pattern there. We've seen these dots hold a lot of weight before. But that being said, this is not going to be a very key level. We could get an about face and kick higher here. But if we don't see that about face and kick higher to kind of break back above 40, we're going to be looking for some downside targets around 35 there, my friend. GTF So says BDY. What did you say? Or BBW. Build a bear. Build a bear. Yeah, I honestly, I am not putting anything past anything anymore and laughing or making fun of anything, because Build a Bear, they make some beautiful bears there. Let's be honest. With that being said, we have some very significant support around $3.93. If we start breaking below that, we're going to be looking for some initial support around 357 to 337 to the downside. Some key targets to kind of break of some ceiling of resistance around $4.72, my friend. And I love how you always bring up Build a Bear, my friend. Christopher, you are 100% true. PLTR did break Wall Street Bets comments. There's actually so many people on Wall Street Bets complaining about how much posts there are about Wall Street or about PLTR. Jason says T or ZL long term. So let's do a quick comparison. So we'll look at T. What does it look like downwards? And then we're going to look at what's Verizon. I like Verizon better because it's not kind of downward trending. I think AT&T has a better dividend. I don't really invest in dividends. I'm not really a dividend investor. I'm a growth investor. Looking for some initial support around $60 with some key targets above 62. The only reason I say this one's better is because it's been trading sideways. And if we look back at T, it's just kind of more of a downward projection. It's below its 200 EMA, just not looking like a very good looking chart there on my what my technical alerts I'm looking at. Let's see here. David S says yes, this thing has, are you in this, David? This thing is gangbusters, like crazy. Like I missed out on so much money. I had the opportunity to buy it at 27. Did I buy it? No, because I got sidetracked with all the other things that are going on in the market and just didn't really tie myself down to it. It was a beautiful setup. Running from that $28 to $29 all the way up to $54, like wow. So we have some key levels to potentially even test 63. Again, this thing has gone parabolic here. You're seeing it with between the 5 and 8 moving averages to continue to grind higher here and looking for potentially testing $63. This can easily test 55 in the near term. Some short dated support is going to be coming in wherever the 8 EMA lies, which is currently around $49. This is called 50, and some stronger dated support coming around $43 to the downside there. But that's a good looking chart. Let's see here. Yes, I'm long. Good bet for you, my friend. Alan says, wait, you're not a boomer, Ken? No. You'll be surprised on how many comments I get that everyone thinks I'm like a 19-year-old kid, or then I'm a 19-year-old kid, or I'm like a 55-year-old man that plays golf during the week and just trades stocks. I think it's the demographic that I maybe apply to. Yeah, Bitcoin is coming back strong. Like it really is. It's making a nice little strong comeback. Nicola, yeah, I got nothing to add on like Nicola. Again, I know a lot of folks are maybe trying to bottom fish here or getting into this stuff. I just got a bad taste with Nicola. I shorted it way back when and got out of it. With this being said, we're going to be looking for some initial support around $24 to $22.40 to the downside, with some key levels to try to break out is basically above 39 there. So not really much to add there for Nicola, because again, I don't really honestly believe too much of the company. Let's see here. We did JMIA already. That is completely parabolic, and we're looking for potentially it trying to test and hold above $40. Can you look at Frog, Ken? Yes. This thing has sold off, right? Okay, yeah, it's sold off, and now it's wow. Okay, it's making a strong comeback here. I like this. This is looking at this initially, it is very much beaten up, and looking for potentially a reversal here. Support coming in around $65. If we hold that and get the 5 and 8 to cross through it, we could potentially see this kick higher to above 71 to potentially test 76 to 75. How does Snap look for tomorrow? I don't know about tomorrow, but I can kind of give you a little bit of better insight on a little bit longer basis. Snap looks still very strong here. Support to the downside is going to be around 41 to 41.30 to the downside. If it can break above that 46.95 range, which we've seen that pattern kind of hit before, that could be definitely a nice little breakout and potentially run its way up to 50. Blue, my thoughts on Netflix. It's bottomed at that 475 to 480 range so many times. I think it's just trying and begging and pleasing to try to potentially get above 515 to 520. Rhonda Green, hey, I've got on late. Have you discussed Uber. No, I haven't heard anyone talk about Uber in a while. And again, I love Uber. I know if Mr. Bear is on, I apologize for him. He's not been a big fan of the Uber. With Uber, what a move here again with that thing that was passed in California, really propping it higher above the $49 range, which we talked about for the year. Looking for this potentially to consolidate here and maybe get its mojo and get some momentum back and really potentially test its next key target, which is around $60 to the upside. If it does kind of break below that $49 range, we're going to be looking for some initial support around $45 to $46 down there. Green. Jason says, does Pepsi or Coke have more growth in the future? I'm just gonna say KO. Looking at the chart, but Pep, I think Pep's gonna have a little bit more. Yeah, Pep's got a little bit more because it's a little bit more diversified, if I'm correctly. It's closer to its all-time high for the year, and looking for potentially 147 with some targets if this trend continues to around 159 to 160. Those are just my opinions, though. DoorDash is going public, really? I didn't know that. Finally caught you. What's O? Is that Ollie? Was that Ollie Bargain Outlets? Oh, is that a ticker symbol? Oh, PFE. That's Pfizer, right? So, full disclosure, Roy, on those pharmaceutical stocks, I do terrible with these. They're really just the understanding of what's going on, the data's behind it, the clinical trials, and things like that. Moderna, I'm not honestly a fan of just because of the way the board and the CEO and the C-suite folks have really treated the investors and really just did some of the buying and so forth. This thing has just gone completely parabolic as well and looking for some potential price targets around 165 if that wants to continue, but we're seeing a very high elevation of this stock currently. If it does not break above that 130 to even 140, we could potentially see it come back to 120 to even down to 106 to 100 to the downside there, my friend. Moderna is definitely going to be a longer term play or a more of an aggressive growth play than Pfizer, because Pfizer has a huge other suite of things going on rather than just Moderna on its thing. But if you want to be more diversified, I would go with Pfizer. If you want to be really just being strict growth, you would have to go more into the in tune with Moderna. Tim says QS, yeah, quantum, whatever it was, escape. Wow, great move, like insane. This thing will definitely run probably potentially coming Monday. Potentially try to test that $40 range because again, a lot of people want to get that cheddar. Nvidia has kind of been underperforming as well. Like AMD just kind of just been lollygagging around and just kind of just chilling here, just kind of cruising here, looking for some initial support around that 515 watt 514. If they're breaking above 542, we want to see 562 and really see its all-time high break above 588 to the upside. GPS, that's a gap, right? Earnings miss, came back down, coming to the 34 EMA. If we get any kind of movement or somewhat significant base building here around the $21 to $20 range, this could be building a base and maybe consolidating here, and we'll have to know how to play it from there. I'm not sure what's Match Group's ticker symbol. Cruise liners are all trash. I agree, but they are potentially ripe for making a little bit of money. PayPal or Square? I'm in PayPal just because I've used it more than Square, but they both look very good on the charts. Rambo 1245 NNDM has definitely been hot, and that's somewhat of an understatement for that stock. We're potentially looking for some support around 550 to 420. Those are going to be some key levels of support, and looking for some targets above $7 again to potentially testing 8. Did he do Chewy yet, Fish? I have not done Chewy, have I? CHWY, right? We're looking for, again, if this breaks above $74, this can easily run to $81 to even $90 with an earnings run in mind. Usually these stocks could really run into earnings and just kind of potentially underperform on the earnings because it had such a large move running into. But again, some downside support is going to be coming around $69 to $70. Christopher says MTCH. Thank you, Christopher. MTCH, of course, this is the match group. What are you going to do when you're in quarantine? You're going to hit up that Tinder. You're going to hit up the old dating sites. With this move here, looking for this continue to grind higher here, no pun intended of grinding, at 137, potentially looking for 160 to the upside. What looks like a pretty good quarter that's coming out, and seeing these moving averages continue to the upward right there. We did PLTR already multiple times, Andy. So PLTR key levels of support is going to be 26, 23, and 19. If we get any kind of more volume and just buying coming in tomorrow, we can see that run all the way up to 36 and up to past 45, even to 50 and coming through there. Sunny Day, I don't honestly trade cannabis stocks because I'm not allowed to own weed stocks due to my contract with my security company that I work for. What's the sector that has the most growth in 2021? I think the EV electronic car market. Home. I am home. Yes. Was that a ticker symbol? So at home group. I forget what this company does. Looking kind of interesting here. Nothing to really write home about, no pun intended. It has earnings coming out soon on Tuesday, so be very mindful of that. But we're seeing some significant support around 1580-ish, even down to significant support around $13 there, with some potential targets to kind of break some overhead resistance around 22-ish. I saw a lot of BA. So BA is, again, a company that makes airlines and also makes components for the military. With that being said, we're seeing some key levels around $225. That's going to be a Fibonacci retracement that we're kind of hitting here currently, and looking for trying to potentially test it higher here to kind of break above to the 267 levels there. With that downside support coming in around $200 there. At Home is a decorating selection at Home Depot. Really? I didn't know that. Cool. Thank you, Jesus. Let's see here. Chegg. Yeah, Chegg was very much like a pandemic play for stay-at-home school, colleges, or whatever, kind of making this like roller coaster, double top, double bottom kind of pattern really putting itself in a box here and looking for some initial support here around $69. Let's just call it $68 to $69 for some support to the downside, and really key overhead resistance around $90. And now we're just kind of trading in this range. It's a very wide range. Again, we're talking nearly 20-ish, $30 here. But looking for this potentially with the 5 and 8 moving averages trying to cross through the 21 EMA, we're going to be looking for some around $80, that target there. If that fails, we're going to be looking for $73 to $70 to the downside. PayPal, yeah, I love PayPal. Is it PYPL? So PayPal trying to hit this basically this triple top here. If we get any kind of movement to the upside here, we can see this really print higher here. So we're going to look at, why are these fibs disappearing on some of my charts here? Looking for 250 to the upside. Those are some key targets to kind of look out for and to see to continue to grind higher there. I like that a lot, actually. I'm in PayPal long term, but nice looking chart there. I saw a lot of Alibaba or Ali blah blah, BABA. We're seeing here with that movement. So Ali blah blah, which we talked about multiple times before, and seeing this kind of significant pattern coming through. We had a lot of options activity around the 284 and all the way down to 214. Hitting a key level here, potentially slowing down here and kind of just trading sideways. Would like to see the 5 and 8 potentially to cross over through the 21 EMA and start printing higher to get above that 287 to the $300 range. Alan S., thanks for the $2, my friend. You didn't have to do that. You're looking for SMG, Scott's Miracle Grow. You're going long. Okay, let's take a looky-loo. Okay, back at it again. Alan with a winner chicken dinner. That's a great looking chart. Holy moly. Nothing really sexy there. The VIX just popped there a little bit. That's interesting. VIX just went up well over 1% there. Some little bit of fear coming into the market. Nothing to write home about. For this one, I like this one. If we can get a break above that 172, basically like 172 to 175, that can easily kind of print higher here. Let me look on the weekly chart. Oh my gosh. Wow. Each time this comes down to the 21 EMA on the weekly side, that was a great buying opportunity. Initially speaking, looking for potential support around 165 to 162 to the downside. We had a double bottom here, which is a pretty nice pattern here, which is basically kind of lines up with the 144 EMA here around 150 to the downside support there. Again, it's going to be a very strong level. Key levels to the upside, we can do, what happened to that large downward move there? Is it considered like a slower season during the winter season? Because a lot of people don't really well, here in Virginia, I guess it's too cold to cut your grass and take care of it. But I guess the springtime is definitely going to be a significant movement for it. Key levels to look for is around $207. And Kumar, thank you for upgrading your membership. You didn't have to do that as well. Thank you, thank you, thank you. A lot of great, fantastic stuff happening this evening. Thank you, guys. Appreciate it. Joe, you're really well appreciated. You're always welcome. Again, if everyone's free, completely free to join the Discord. We have fantastic discussions within the Discord. Everything from, I would say it, snack foods to video games to GTFO and I were talking about office chairs. Always a grand old time there. Looks like ES just broke there as well. Looks like we're a little capitulation coming in here. Anyways, with FSTAL, this thing has gone completely parabolic as well. With some key levels kind of coming in around $9.70, which we've seen this level kind of hold off here. If we get any kind of significant further upside move, which is who God only knows if it can happen, is going to be around $14 if we get that FOMO pattern really kicking in and get the pedal to the metal here and really see some potential higher prices coming in. Initial support on the short dated side, short dated side is around $8.15 there. Everyone's saying Dow futures falling hard. Nothing's over percent on my charts here. The only thing is that the VIX here is trying to potentially make a little move higher to potentially test 24. I'm just going to put a little target out there to see what happens. Maybe a little bit of bait. See how it plays out. Folks, I want to do a couple more. Again, guys, I want to thank everyone so much. This has been such a blessing for everyone to come out and just have a little grand old time looking at some charts. I always enjoy doing this. Yeah, I have a Discord. Should I share that? Let me put that in here. Hold on. Invite people. Copy. Here's my Discord. I posted it in the channel here. Okay, Roy says FUV. I think we just did that one, didn't we? Wow. This is SPAC play. No. I'm so used to just getting all these SPAC plays. Costco, Jason. 100% Costco. With this movement here, we're seeing FUV really kind of coming in, holding this $13 range, but we're kind of keeping it, the movement here on a very tight pivot, with this basically being between 1570 to 1150 and really seeing out which way it can carry us higher here. So again, insinuating the 1570 or above, the resistance if it breaks above is continued, can go higher. And the flip side of the low side of 1150, potentially if it starts breaking and going lower, that's going to be some significant downside there as well. Trevor, what's up, my friend? What's up? So no market crash. You never know when the market's going to crash. That's the thing. You have no idea. You have no idea, folks. It can completely do complete about faces, and if someone knew when the market's going to crash, they would make billions of dollars. Jason says Under Armour or Foot Locker. I would say Nike. We did PLTR multiple times. What's ICLN? ICLN. Clean Energy. Wow, that's a great looking chart. That is a good looking stuff. Wow. That's a beautiful ETF there, my friend. This is a clean energy ETF. What's the it's run by iShares, so the expense rate, excuse me. Expense rate might be kind of a little bit low there, which is good. Initial support, a buying opportunity would be around $21. So I'm actually going to be, I don't know what's actually in this ETF, so I should look that up as well on some databases and see what key stocks are in this ETF and kind of just trade those as well. Let's see here. Rick K says, just found your channel tonight. Thanks for all your input. I really enjoy. Yeah, you're welcome, my friend. Again, you're welcome to join the Discord. We always have some great chats going on there. Try away from the dip on Nike. I haven't looked at Nike for a while. Let's look at it. I love Nike. That's a beautiful looking chart. Very strong looking here, potentially looking for a significant breakout to potentially get to 150 there. Some support coming in if you want to wait for it on the longer dated side. It's going to come in around 117. That's going to be a pretty large drop, but it does have earnings coming out in December, so we could maybe get that opportunity coming in there. Yoshi says TTFC. Is that Tattooed Chef. You said TTCF, sorry. So I was short this stock and I got out of it a little bit too soon. So I shorted it up here around $23, posted it on the Discord, now kind of coming lower due to the fact that for whatever reason, I think because I'm a huge Costco guy, go to Costco at least once a week, and I saw their Tattooed Chef products completely filled to the rim on every single shelf on the frozen section. And I was like, they're not selling this stuff. I don't see it in anyone's cart. No one's buying this. I'm sadly to say it's good stuff, but I don't see anyone buying it. I don't know what maybe a little bit overpriced. I don't know. But that being said, we are continued to sell off here with the 5 and 8 moving averages still pointing somewhat towards the ground here. If we want to see any kind of consolidation here, we need to start leveling off the 5 and 8 moving averages. And what I mean by that, it needs to start becoming parallel to the longer dated moving averages and really just kind of just leveling off here and seeing a base here for like 2 or 3 weeks without any crazy selling or upward and downward movement there. But Snow it broke IPO 350. Yeah, Snow has been going parabolic. We talked about that one just a little bit earlier. I was trading it around this 240-ish range. Rode it all the way up to basically the 300 range. Fantastic move. Looking potentially to test 342 to even 373 for an earnings run there, my friend. Can you please look at Mark? It's a penny stock though. I'm gonna do it just because I'm kind. Yeah, not looking too pretty here as well. It does have a lot of squeezes setting up here, so again, I had no idea what the company does. It looks like it just had earnings come out. If it stays above some tight consolidation around $1.20, we could see this potentially go higher to potentially 166 to even test 197 to the upside. Can we look at Disney? Yes, Disney. Poor Disney's getting more job cuts and potentially some more cuts there and lack of being able to open up. Looking for some initial support around 137 to the downside. If it breaks 153, that's going to be a fantastic move there. Money M1. What does that mean? I'm sorry, not following. Joe, thank you for becoming a member. I appreciate that. Thank you. Someone is asking to look at ARK investments. So ARKK. Oops. Do a couple more. My eyes. The Sandman is coming in hot, really hot, and I'm getting tired. So ARK, we're looking for potentially it to stay above 110 to potentially test 116. What do you mean by money supply? Can you look at CRM as earnings? Yeah, we looked at CRM earlier. So CRM is going to have a large move. Of course, they're trying to acquire work. That's what they're talking about. We're going to potentially hear that more on. Oops, I spelled that wrong. Talk about work being acquired or work again. We'll see how that plays out. Looking for some initial support kind of coming in here. If we do sell off around 237 and some key targets to break around is around 264 to the upside there. Oh, how much money did the Fed print? Oh, yes. It printed a little bit, yeah. Just a little bit. Just a hair. All right, chat's moving pretty fast here. ATOS. It's a penny stock and it's a therapeutical stock, so I'm going to be doing terrible on this one. It wants to potentially break out and test $2.25 to $2.30, but this thing It's a penny stock and it's a pharmaceutical stock, so it's going to be a little bit iffy on what this could be happening here. Really going to be very difficult to kind of give you some insights on that because it is a penny stock. So apologies on that. A lot of things are coming down. Looks like we're down a little bit here. VIX is climbing up a little bit. NASDAQ has gone red now. So looking like a potential double top here for NASDAQ. Some short dated support for NASDAQ is going to be coming in around the 12,000, what is that? 12,173 levels there. So yeah, thank you. Oh, we got another member. Flippin', what's up, my friend? Thank you, Alan, for welcoming him. Ken has the best channel. Thank you. AV says ES futures are coming down. We covered PLTR multiple times. Thank you, Alan, again. Lowe's or Home Depot. I'm a Home Depot guy. Daniel says QLGN. QLGN. Yeah, another therapeutical stock. Again, these pharmaceutical stocks I do terrible with and very difficult to look at again due to it's just very heavily price manipulation there. CG Gaming is asking to look at PL. Is that the pot stock? PHNSL. Yeah, Planet 13, whatever this company is. Looking for some initial support to the downside around $3.93, but we're looking for some key targets above $6. Again, with the potential bill passing this week, we could see that potentially run up substantially. Can we do TDoc? So TDoc, yes, so Teladoc kind of been somewhat of a underplay here, being a direct virus play and pandemic, kind of coming down to that 180 range, bouncing around a little bit, potentially finding a bottom here. It's not showing any significant sign of momentum trend change to the upside, but we're looking for potentially testing 200. If we get a test above 200, we can see that kind of print higher there as well. Flippin says, can we look at Rocket? Yeah, so key takeaways, I'm long Rocket, but I'm long Rocket in my longer dated account. So I'm giving it a lot of time to play out. Usually these IPOs, the first year or so, or the first 3 or 4 quarters, it really gets misrepresented and just really doesn't perform very well sometimes. And this is kind of the case for this one. And we're looking for to potentially kind of level off here and stay above $19.80 to $20, and potentially looking for those price targets way down the road, potentially looking for, I had price targets well above 35 plus, again, which is his previous high. So looking for basically $50 for Rocket within hopefully the next year or potentially 18 months. Is Rocket going to sell off? I don't know, but if it does want to sell off, it has to hold above $18.28. We talked about GME. GME definitely has a short squeeze in place. If GME can continue to get a squeeze and some volume in tomorrow, it can easily run to $17.50 to $19. Folks, I'm going to look at a couple more charts and then we'll go there. Do you think that the all-time high was all due to Wall Street bets hyping, or it was happening there with the Rocket? I think it was a newer IPO with Rocket, and yes, there was FOMO entailed with that. I'm not sure I'm gonna pinpoint it to Wall Street bets, but looking for some potential understanding of the earnings run up again. Everyone just thought that this is going to be the next fantastic stock going to 100, quick, easy money, FOMO, blah, 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 blah. This is what happens sometimes. CG Gaming entry for Win. So that's Win Resort if I'm familiar. Key level here, if it starts breaking above 107 to 105, we could potentially see a breakout. Why did the fib entered on this one went away? I always had fibs. Yeah, so that 108 to 107 is going to be a key level to the upside. Some downside support initially is going to be around $94 there. Looking at ticker symbol, what is that? I'm just going to copy that. My eyes are getting really tired here, folks. I'm literally going to do like 2 or 3 more, and then I'm going to call it a night. I don't know if you're spelling that right. EVVTY. Yeah, it's not popping up. What does my gut tell me? I don't try to listen to my gut all the time with trading, but Rocket, I'm a long-term investor in. It needs to break for me to really get out and potentially not add more to it. It's got to go well below 15. It did pop up. EVVTY. Okay, I see it now. All right, I have fat fingers. I'm sorry. Very low volume on this one. Evolution Gaming Group. This sounds very familiar. I've heard of this before. Looking for some initial support around 75. Looking for some testing above 84 to 86. If we get that break above 84, 86, we're looking for 90 and potentially a nice run to 100 there. Yeah, I'm not saying anything can crash. Like, I'm not gonna, my gut doesn't allow me to have favorites. JJ, what's up, my friend? Airbnb coming. That's why I'm not moving IPO. Not sure what you mean by that. Snow due for a dump? Maybe at earnings, but the potential earnings run is still in place. We're looking for potentially 350, even higher. Yeah, Rocket has support around $19 to $20 initially. Entry for space. So space is going to be a difficult one. Potentially some short-dated entries could be potentially 25, but significant more support is going to be around $21 to $19 to the downside there. Guys, on that note, I've been streaming for about 2 hours. So it's been going on for a little bit there. Again, I got to wake up in a couple hours to do a call with some of my folks in the old Australia, but that's for work. Definitely would love to do some more live streams. If you're not, if you can go ahead and just swing on over to our fantastic Discord, I will copy that and post that in the description so you can check that out. Again, completely free. We do have a little bit more perks for the members as well to kind of look at some charts I share and things like that. But anyone is welcome to join and just kind of hang out. Again, we talk mostly stock, charts, gaming chairs, office chairs, snacks, more snacks, a lot of food, and we talk about the weather sometimes. Guys, thank you so much. I really do appreciate everyone coming out, and I'll definitely be doing some more live streams coming soon. Again, guys, catch you guys on the flip side. Peace.